Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Chortle Cast. I am one of your hosts for tonight, Jake, and I'm joined, as always, by the Stream King, the Far Cry Guy, the Double Dog Dad, the Headshotting Lad, Steven. What's up, bud?
You can't do that. It's too close to God of Headshot.
What's the lad one? I had something like that.
Roguelite Lad.
Roguelite Lad, the Double Dog Dad, Steven. That's it. I really like that one too. I just remembered it.
Roguelite Lad, Double Dog Dad is phonetically very good.
So what are we gonna say when you are not only a double dog dad, but you are actually the father of a human child as well?
I mean, I'm not the double dog dad anymore. I have two dogs, and I'm the father.
That is true. You are still double dog dad and the father. I like it. Anyway, that's Steven. This is Chortlecast, the official podcast of Chortle Games. We talk about video games, TV shows, movies, anime, whatever the heck we want to talk about. We've got a great show for you tonight. We are going to be recapping Gamescom opening night live. We're going to go through all the announcements, kind of chit-chat in a more casual way than when we were live reacting to everything and it was happening really quickly. We're going to give more of our thoughts on everything. So we're going to go down the list, talk through things. We're going to do our usual stop on what you want to talk about. Otherwise, we're just going to keep going down the list. But before we do any of that, I have been playing some Death Stranding. I've mentioned that across several streams, but I haven't been able to. Steven is already sighing.
I'm going to try to be good.
He's going to hold it in.
I just hate that man so much.
Hey, and that's okay. That's okay. What I am hoping is that we will kind of have a meet in the middle. Not even a. Well, I don't know. Anyway, we'll get into it. You have the reactions you need to have, Steven. That's fine. So I've been playing some Death Stranding. Brody, who of course pops in on the channel every now and then, he told me he started trying it out and that he was really enjoying his time with it. So I finally upgraded my PlayStation Plus. I got it for free.
It's on Game Pass.
Yeah, I know, and that's crazy. We haven't talked about that, but that is like the craziest thing ever. But yeah, no, I didn't want to play it on Game Pass. Things that like I'm gonna want to like really sit down and go through, I just want them on my PlayStation, just because I'm getting trophies. I'm getting, if I really decide I like it, I want to platinum it. I don't want to have to go through all it. I don't want to get halfway through a game, decide this is a game I want to try to platinum, and then do it all over.
Hey, and Austin, how you guys doing?
Hey, what's up, guys? Austin, you get a special trophy for being first. Courtney, if you're not first, you're last, okay? That's all I have to say to you.
The fast who get paid, and it's the fast who get laid.
Okay, all right.
That's the quote.
That is the quote.
Because he says it to a room full of like second graders, and they all start cheering. He's like, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. But it's a bunch of kids.
Wow. Anyway, I've been playing Death Stranding. I finally put in enough time into it that I feel like I can give some more in-depth thoughts on it. Overall, I will say that I've really, really enjoyed it so far. There is something about the delivery gameplay loop that I am hooked on. And I don't even think it's anything that this game does special. Cause like I played Lake, okay? I would not necessarily recommend Lake to anybody, but I'll tell you what I loved about Lake. I loved figuring out the most efficient way to deliver all the mail. In Lake, you play. It's basically a Hallmark movie where you play as a woman who quit her.
It's a freeform movie.
Yeah. She quit her city job to fill in for her dad, who's a postal worker at a small town. Anyway, she finds love. It's a whole thing. But anyway, the core gameplay is you're delivering mail. Okay, I would say the story is not great in Lake. Okay, not great. I stayed in Lake because I wanted to platinum it, and because I liked the aesthetic and the gameplay. As crazy and as stupid as it sounds, was just appealing. And I think Death Stranding takes that to another level because you're having to navigate like the BT sections where like you're going to have to fight enemies. There's the people called the mules that are trying to take your deliveries. And then there's just obviously a lot more places to go. And it's a lot more efficient with like what you're packing, like you're having to actually, how can I pack my vehicle, my backpack, and this little robot with legs that's following me around. How do I pack them efficiently to do the most things in one run? And so something about that loop is good. Like it's really good. And I don't think that's necessarily something that is special to Death Stranding or anything like that. But that has hooked me. Now, what I do want to talk about and have kind of a conversation about is the story, which if you've seen trailers, if you've seen anything, if you've seen the Norman Reedus fetus, you know it's just a weird story, right? But I've been playing through it, and I have been surprised at how off the wall and just wildly weird the story is. And this is coming from somebody who, like, I watch a lot of anime. I like a lot of anime. Like one of my favorite animes this past year was oh man, Boji. I can't think of the name. Boji. Shoot. The king. It's like the king's race or something like that.
Speech. The King's Speech.
No. That's a good movie though. Good movie. Shoot. Ranking of Kings. That's it. Ranking of Kings. Great anime. Goes off the rails. You kind of just have to hold on to the ride and just go with what they tell you. Kingdom Hearts is a lot like that. You just kind of have to take what they say at face value and run with it. Kojima, you just kind of have to do that too. But I do want to say I've had some really emotional moments in the game. You have your BB, the little baby that's with you the whole time. As a new father, I have found that relationship to be really cool. BBs are these things that the world looks at them as tools, but it's obviously a baby. And so you're kind of basically fighting for BB to be set free from this trap that he's in. So I kind of like that story going on. But a character arc that I just recently finished that I want to talk about in full spoiler depth, because I think this is a good example of, like, if you're going to play this is the kind of story you're kind of in for. Okay. So, and I also want to preface this with, this is kind of my first Kojima game. I never played any of the Metal Gear Solid series. I know a lot of people are high up on that. Steven, did you ever play those? Were you a fan of those at all?
Played Snake Eater. It's been a long time, and that was the only one I played. And they're good. They were definitely ahead of their time,
right?
But I mean,
Kojima just got raised up on a platform
Kojima
way too high.
Gets way too much credit for only doing part of the job.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so I just want to preface that as well. But to quickly set the groundwork, right, of Death Stranding, has been this catastrophic event called the Death Stranding, which basically separated. I don't even really fully understand. Basically, there is a world of the dead and there's a world of the living, okay? The world of the living is a post-apocalyptic. Everybody lives underground. But in order to, share information and whatnot, you're trying to reconnect everyone basically to the internet, okay? It's called the chiral network. There's a lot that goes into that. I digress. But the land of the dead kind of seeps in through these things called BTs, which are the little ghosts that you see in the trailer. Okay. All right. There's a character in this named Mama, and she's called Mama because she has a baby. She has a baby who died, but is still attached to her. So her baby is a BT, a ghost that is still attached to her. And so because of how BTs work, she can't leave the spot where the baby died because she's still connected to him or her. So anyway, you meet her, you kind of learn this. It's kind of a weird, I don't know. Again, as a father, a new father, I was like, this is really like kind of crazy. Like just what we would do for our kids, right? Her child is dead, but she has just the slightest connection left. And she's literally living in in rubble to stay with her child, right? So anyway, you meet her, get her kind of her first blush of her story. You go and do a couple missions, and you get to this outpost that's kind of far out from everything else, and you meet this other character, and Norman Reedus's character Sam thinks that it's actually Mama in disguise, and he's like, "What are you doing? Why are you doing that?" Well, come to find out, Steven, Mama has a twin sister, okay, and because of some weird whatever. They used to be able to read each other's thoughts and whatnot, but they haven't been able to do that since Mama had the baby. Okay. So you got to go get Mama to somehow work this out, because the twin is not going to let us connect her site to the internet, which is halting our mission. Okay. I know. We're getting there, Steven. We're getting there. There's a lot of crazy that's happening to get to this moment that I'm about to describe. So I get back to Mama, and Mama tells me that she's created this knife that can cut a BT's connection. And my character's like, okay, cool. I guess I can use that as I'm traveling around. And she's like, yep, let's test it. And then she holds the baby and is like, you've got to cut it. I've got to let it go. I've got to let the child go. And they spend a lot of moment on it. I'm not going to do a great job giving a good explanation of how good her performance was. I forget the actress's name, but I was crying thinking about it. This is the last thread I have of my child, and I have to give it up to finish the mission that we're trying to do. And so it was emotional. It's emotional. Yeah. This is a funny Death Stranding thing. So to take her to her sister, I have to put her in a body bag and carry her on my back because she can't just sit in the car that I have. But that's how that works. We get to her sister.
I agree, Courtney.
We get to her sister. Now, this is, here again, this really sweet, emotional moment performance.
The sister was the baby.
Of giving, no. Okay. Of giving up.
The baby had a twin.
It gets worse, guys.
Oh, right.
So we get there. Sweet moment. Really, I mean, I cannot tell you. I was crying. I was like, wow, I was not expecting such an emotional, payoff to her story. Anyway, get to the site with her sister. Her sister comes out. They have a moment. There's some weird stuff happening, right? Things are floating around because they haven't connected in a while. And anyway, they're talking about oh man, I feel whole again. And again, here's some crazy stuff that also is information you need to know about this. So Mama's baby was not actually her baby. Her sister couldn't have kids. So they fertilized an egg, put it in Mama. Mama had the baby, right? So they kept calling it I had to be with our child, and I had to be wherever. And I'm just like, okay, all right, sure. Yeah, this is weird. Well, then Mama dies, just falls out dead in this, and again, another weird thing. She's in a body bag, right? We lay her on a table. She never stood up again. I was like, did I kill her? Did I take too long getting here? I don't understand what's happening. Anyway, she dies.
Why was she in a body bag in the first place?
There you go. I had a car, Steven. I had a van. I'm running a great truck. She had plenty of room. I digress.
See, it was paying homage to Mario.
Yes. Because he did not jump himself. It was his ghostly child from his twin brother. Just kidding.
Much like when we climb ladders, we are higher in the air.
Okay.
When we die, we ascend
to a new
Mario
plane.
Homage. It's really a Strand type gameplay.
It's really Strand. So hang on. We're losing the punchline here. This is what happens. So anyway, she dies. Real sad, real emotional. Fine, sure, whatever. So weird.
Yep.
I turn to my kiosk and I basically say, I delivered Mama, and I got a thumbs up from my boss. And then I turn around. Mama had blue eyes. Her twin sister had brown eyes. Okay. This is also important because when I turn around, I kind of cock my head because I'm looking at the twin sister. She now has a blue and a brown eye. And I thought, that's weird. I could have sworn she just had brown eyes. Then Mama talks and looks this, and her eyes look this way. Then the twin sister looks this way, like the eyes switch sides and they're talking. They've joined. They're whole. They're two people in one body now.
Yep.
And I was like, okay. Even Sam was like, am I supposed to be cool with this? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what's happening here. They give each other a hug like this. They do this.
Just let me know when I can. Let me know when I can say why I have so many issues with this.
Tear into it. That's what I'm saying. It's like, would you agree though that like the moment where you have to sever that connection, and I know you didn't live it, but just from like a story concept, doesn't that sound like a beautiful sacrifice?
From a story concept, that emotionally resonates. Yes. But
and then you flip it real hard to crazy town.
One, Kojima didn't make that emotional connection.
Mm-hmm.
He had nothing to do with why that landed. It was because it resonated with you and where you are in your life stage, and it had everything to do with the performer.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that because if there's one thing I know about Kojima, it's that he is one of the worst dialogue writers I have ever seen. So I know that Kojima, through his ability to crap words, did not bring a tear to your eye.
No, it was absolutely. I forget that. I forget the actress's name, but she killed it in that moment.
So the reason why I have such an issue with all of that is because I can tell you with 100% confidence the entire reason that story, that plot exists is because Kojima asked the question in the writer's room or whatever. He said, what if there were two people in one person? Which isn't that, like, I came up with, like, one of the characters that I've written and all the stuff I've written, I did something similar than that. Mm-hmm. And guess what? It didn't take Olympic level gymnastics to get to that. And so everything that builds up to that, the whole, well, there's Mama and she has a twin, and then the baby is the twin, like all of that stuff. It doesn't resonate as a plot thread because it's just him building the steps for the one thing that he wanted to pay off. And so all that other stuff just exists as a sort of Deus Ex plot piece, just so he can get to the point where he's like, gosh, wasn't that so cool when there were two people in one body? Like, they had, you see the eyes? Wasn't that great?
You see the eyes? Well,
listen to my podcast.
See, I can't wait to talk about his podcast. So, yeah. I don't even like the two people joining, like the twins becoming one person. I almost wish that hadn't been Mama's character, because I think the whole Mama connection to her baby, having to lose that connection, I think that's such a really interesting emotional story that just gets cluttered up with all this other, well, it's actually my twin sister's baby, and this is how it is, and my twin sister and I, like, we can like feel each other's emotions and stuff. Like, that clutters it all up. I wish there wasn't.
See, what I did with and I'm not trying to shill my own writing, because I'm not doing that anymore, at least not right now. But what I did was, it was two twin characters, it was a set of twins, and they had a mental connection to where, think of them as being mentally tethered. So their thought process was linked to where they shared a same mental pathway. And so the thing that I thought was compelling about that was what happens, I guess similar to Mama and severing that link, but what happens when one of those dies? That is compelling to me, because it's like, these people who have existed all this time together, and you've known both of them as characters. What happens when one of them tragically dies? What happens to the one that remains? That's interesting. And how long did it take me to explain that to you? 20 seconds.
Not as long as it took me to get all through that.
And that's the thing. Like, Kojima is so high on himself that one, he'll just throw twists in there for the heck of it. Doesn't have to make sense. The world he builds, while it may be aesthetically interesting, that's the one thing Kojima does well, is that he is a good visual director. But he has this way about him to where the writing doesn't follow therefore pathway. So the whole rule of when you are writing, you don't, there's two ways to do it. You write with and then connectors or therefore connectors. Kojima writes with and then, which means the plot just kind of happens. You meet Mama, she has a baby tethered to her, and then you find out she has a twin. So going and then rather than therefore makes it to where you can just kind of throw whatever out there. But if you
Stargazer.
Say, hey, Laura. So if you do therefore, thought A has to connect with thought B. So the world has to build upon itself rather than it having obvious strings being pulled. And that's what Kojima does. And because he does it in a visually interesting way, people just kind of forget that it sucks. Well, and it doesn't flow.
It
just doesn't make sense.
And I'll definitely agree with you. Like, the world is interesting. Like, it doesn't make any sense, but it's really, like, to your point, visually, it's really cool. And like,
he can make a visually interesting world. I won't take that from him. If he wanted to start directing movies, not writing them, good God, don't give him a pen.
He's the big idea guy. And then if someone else can just fine tune the rest of it.
Yeah. Like, he's the guy that walks in the room and says, 2 people in one body, 2 different eyes.
And then walks out. And that's that's the problem. If he would walk out from that, we might could get somewhere really cool. But anyway, I digress. Can I tell one more just to me hilarious story from my time in Death Stranding? I came up on a base. A lot of these bases initially don't want to join like the internet, right? I hate the internet. Anyway,
I hate everything about
one of these, and I'm being super loose for anybody that does care about this. I know I'm being super loose with connecting the chiral network to the internet, but just follow me, okay? Anyway, get to this guy. His name is like the Junker or something like that. Anyway,
let me guess, he lives in a junkyard.
Yes. So he, when I come up to his terminal, normally the person just is there. They're like, what do you want? You got a delivery, whatever. Well, when it pops up, it's very obviously like a hologram video, if that makes sense. So like, in some in Star Wars or something, they'll be watching a hologram and it's the person and maybe an object that they're interacting with, but you don't see the background or the context of like the environment. Right. Anyway, that's what it is. So, and it's of this girl playing with an hourglass. And there's like some sad music playing, and he comes out and he's like, I'll never join your group because your group delivered a package that was actually a bomb. This is my girl. You killed her, so I'm not going to join your thing. So then I
believe that. I feel like you just pitched actual dialogue.
I'm not terribly far off on that one. Now, I'll admit I didn't do Mama justice, but I did that. That was a great performance. Anyway, from me. So anyway, you get off, your boss is like, hey, we ran facial recognition. Actually, that girl is alive in another base. Go there and get her. So you go there, you basically go through a short side quest basically to get these two connected. In that span of time, you hear how much she loves him and thought he was dead. Her mom told her that he was dead, so she hates her mom now. And he is like, you found her? She's alive? Oh my God, she's the love of my life. Can you bring her to me? Whatever. You bring them together.
You put her in a body bag. You say, ma'am, get in.
Yes. You carry her on your back. God. The only person or thing that like walks around and follows you is this thing called the buddy bot, who is probably my favorite part of the game. He's just basket with legs that follows you, and it's great. Anyway, I digress. You can't give him people though. You can ride him, but people can't ride you riding him. So anyway,
you don't share, buddy bot. Only you are allowed to ride.
You
must be Norman Reedus to ride.
You must be this much Norman to ride. Anyway, get them together. They have this. I'm not going to say it was well performed. We're back. Oh my gosh, we're in love. We're going to live forever. We're going to be happy. Thank you so much, Sam, for bringing us together. I got like, you get like lights, likes are kind of like a currency in the game. They do this big like thumbs up sequence where I'm getting a bunch of likes. I'm like, cool, whatever. I go on every time you come back there, it's both of them. And they say, hey, Sam, glad to see you. Thanks, whatever. I started to notice as I kept doing deliveries to them, that they got less and less excited. And then next thing I know, it's just Homeboy. And I'm like, this is weird. What's up? People send you mail and you can read mail for like more story context or whatever. So I never read it. So I started going through my mail just to get through it in case it pops any like bonuses or quests or whatever. Anyway, one letter caught my eye, and it was marriage sucks. And I was like, wait a minute. What? So I look, it's from Homeboy. He's like, man, I liked living alone better. This girl tells me what to do. Man, marriage sucks. Don't ever get married, Sam. I was just like, okay, sure, fine. What? And then later on, I noticed a letter from her saying like marriage wasn't what I thought it would be. And basically she said, yeah, it wasn't what I thought it would be. So I'm living back with my mom now. And I was just like, what a fucking, like, this guy didn't want to join the internet because of this chick. And now, okay, whatever. So anyway, I just thought that was hilarious.
See, it pays homage to the origin of video games.
Yeah.
Because much like Mario is always chasing after, it's not
Princess
Peach.
Princess Peach.
In the first one, it's not Peach. It's the New Donk City mayor, whatever her name is.
Oh, Paulina?
Paulina, yeah. Much like Mario pursues Paulina, he doesn't know that if he was to find her and be with her, that it was the journey to find her that he was after, not the woman herself. Also, haha, I'm Kojima and I love to do plot subversion just because I can say gotcha. I'm the same man that wrapped myself up in a full body of bandages when Metal Gear Solid 5 was coming out. And I said, hi, I'm not Hideo Kojima. Did you see that? Did you ever see that?
No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
In an interview with Jeff Keighley, of course, it was when Phantom Pain had been announced, but it hadn't been called Metal Gear Solid 5 yet. And people had figured out that it was Metal Gear Solid within 5 minutes of the announcement, but Kojima kept insisting on the bit, which was that another developer was making it. And he shows up to this interview with Jeff Keighley, literally in a full body of bandages. And he's got like glasses on, and Kojev's like, I don't even remember what his name was, but it's an anagram for Kojima, of course it is. He's like, hello, tell me about this game. And he's like, yes, Phantom Pain. It's not Metal Gear Solid. Like, he's just trying so hard. I'm gonna find this and I'm gonna send this to you. That is where my hatred for the man began, because it was like, get over yourself.
Jig is up. The jig is up. Wow. Okay. There you go. That was my quick Death Stranding. Again, I am enjoying it. It's a lot of nonsense. A lot of nonsense is going on. You might want to tell Flynn to stop. I don't think people can see what he's doing, but he's humping that pillow back there. He was getting it. Oh, look, there's Minnie right there. Why are you like this? Okay, let's talk about opening night live. Speaking of Jeff, this is, of course, Jeff Keighley's big Gamescom presentation. It kind of opens the show. This was the first one that they've done in a while that was hosted in front of a live audience. So it was a whole different vibe than we've had it in a while. So we're going to go down everything, and we're just going to chat about some of the things that stood out to us. So I'm pulling this from Polygon. They have everything out of order, so this is not the order. Some things
Do you want
are.
me to find one that's in order?
I don't care. I don't care about the order. I just always like to say. I always feel like I'm like, but then it's like, well, it didn't happen in this order, so like, nah. Anyway, we're just gonna go down the list. So starting at the top, this was the first thing of the show. It's called Everywhere. They showed a little trailer. It's from a developer called Build a Rocket Boy. Still kind of confused what it's going to be. It has kind of this. Dreams is a good comparison for probably what the gameplay is going to be like, but not aesthetically.
It looks like open world Fortnite.
Yes, it looks like what the like creative mode in Fortnite could be if they just gave you all the tools from like Unity.
It looks like a Fortnite MMO or something.
Yeah. Real weird. It was a very, very vague trailer. They had the developer come out and kind of talk a little bit about it, but
they said a whole lot of nothing.
A whole lot of nothing. Steven, I got to go handle Asher really quick. Do you mind going through, save Hogwarts for me, but you can talk about Doom. I'll be right back.
Okay, cool. So yeah, there was Everywhere, which I recommend looking at the trailer because it is interesting. Because what I think they might be going for personally is kind of Ready Player One, but as an actual MMO, because they show gameplay that looks kind of like Fortnite, where it's third person, you're running around, there's cars, but also they showed what looked like a more graphically realistic bit where it was in space or something. So I think they may be doing like a simulated virtual playground kind of thing. So check that out. Tell me if anyone else has any better ideas as to what that is. Dune is getting an MMO that was announced. So we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and talk about that. It was just a cinematic trailer where we saw the really big worm thing. I haven't watched Dune. I haven't read Dune yet, so I know literally nothing about it. But we know it's going to be a survival open world MMO. And to me, because again, I don't know Dune. All I know about Dune is what one would know based on the trailers for the film. So to me, I hear that, and my first reaction is, again, I don't know Dune, but my first reaction is, how are they going to make an MMO, especially like a survival open world MMO, that's visually interesting or has a level of escalation when everything is just sand dunes? So I'm curious to see more from that. I know Dune is really hot right now. So it was a matter of time before Dune really broke into the video game space. But yeah, we'll see. So check that one out as well. Dune Awakening is what it is called. And actually, give me just a second. Jeremy sent us a synopsis of the game. So I will find that. Okay, yeah. Survive the most dangerous planet in the universe, build shelters against sandstorms, maintain your still suit, and master the old ways to walk even the deepest deserts. Avoid or be devoured by the colossal sandworms that dwell beneath the sands. Explore the ever-changing face of Arrakis. Walk the ruins of long-forgotten biological testing stations. Scavenge the wreckage of fallen spaceships and wander the dusty halls of abandoned sieges. Head into unmapped sectors and be the first to discover secrets and riches before the Coriolis storms once again shift the sands and alter the landscape. Control the spice, control Arrakis. Hunt for spice blooms and deploy your harvester, then protect it from opportunistic raiders and rival factions. Soak the sand in blood as massive battles shift seamlessly from on foot to vehicles and from ground to ornithopters in the sky. That could be really cool. Like big, like large scale battles, like something like gosh, what was that game called? I'll think of it later.
This is Dune still that we're talking about?
This is Dune, yeah. I'm reading the synopsis that Jeremy sent us.
Oh, okay.
Make plans within plans. Make a name for yourself among the inhabitants of Arrakis. Wield intrigue and force to influence the lands raid and impact the world. Build your own faction through spice harvesting, trade, subterfuge, and open conflict. Awaken the sleeper. Tailor every aspect of your character. Consume spice to conquer your senses and acquire powerful abilities. Hone your craft to become sought out for the finest creations. Construct your fortress in the style of your choosing. The journey is yours to shape. So that just tells you like, I'm sure if you know Dune,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of that is exciting, but to me,
Mm-hmm.
it just sounds like a lot of Dune themed buzzwords for this is a survival crafting MMO.
Yeah. Well, I am excited. I don't know a ton about Dune.
Yeah.
I watched maybe the first hour of the Dune movie. But my previous employer was a huge Dune fan. And so when the movie came out, he was telling me all about it. And so all I know is that the spice is like, especially when you like
Hold on.
absorb as much of it as the main, well, at least the main character in the book is supposed to, like you get some crazy powers or something. So the whole thing about, hey, like you can consume spice for special abilities in this game just sounds cool. Steven, did they say anything about you're following like the main character from the book, or like this is your own character, right?
Your own character.
Yeah. See, I think that's a good way to do it too, because I know there's another Dune game that's being made, and I don't know if it's
Spice Wars.
Spice Wars. That's it. Yep.
I feel like it's either already out or it's been in beta or something.
Something about it. Anyway, I don't know if that's following the books or anything like that, but regardless, I think it's good that this, and if if Spice Wars is doing it as well, I think it's good to separate themselves from the storyline of the source material and just kind of, here's the world, here's the themes or whatever, be your character. So that's one that I want to see more of, and I think would be a really fun one for us to play through. So anyway, I'm glad I timed that as good as I did, because Hogwarts Legacy is next on the list. Now, this was one that we knew about going in, and I remember saying to you, Steven, I was like, I don't know what they're going to show that we haven't already seen, because they did essentially a Hogwarts Legacy Direct, Warner Brothers did, that was pretty in-depth. It was like 30 minutes, and it really went into everything. So I was like, what are they going to show us here? And so they had a, 60-second trailer talking about the dark arts and dark spells that you're going to be learning, which, like, we knew. It's kind of funny. I think even you, Steven, you were like, did we learn anything new from that? Yeah. And I was like, I learned that the dark arts is going to be a bigger part of the story than maybe I initially thought.
That's the general
but
takeaway that I think people got from that was that there's going to be a lot more dark magic and stuff than maybe initially thought. Yeah. Which is like, okay, sure.
I'll tell you what I really learned from that is all the bonuses that I'm getting from my pre-order. I'm getting a Thestral mount. I'm excited. And that even, I am so curious how this game is going to be. I'm kind of glad it's going to be early of next year, because I just, even watching that initial direct, I was blown away by just how much it seems like they're creating a world, almost like an MMO that you can just live in, like, here's my little Hogwarts that I'm living in and doing everything I could possibly do. So
the thing that does worry me about it a little bit, and I think it was just bad timing overall, for them to show essentially nothing, right, or not, maybe not right after, but not too long after announcing that it had been delayed in the next year. That kind of sends a message of, this game is not ready. And obviously game not ready because game's not coming out this year, but like, are they having trouble behind the scenes is the question I walked away with.
I think a lot of that, first off, I am never worried when someone delays. I'm more worried when someone does not delay.
Right.
Like Sonic Frontiers, I'm shocked that didn't get delayed. They're going toe to toe with God of War this year, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah. But
delays are good, but my thing was a delay plus basically not showing up, because like Hogwarts Legacy was something that they advertised opening night with, and for them to show nothing, like it was a very short trailer that just showed pre-order bonuses. That says to me, like, okay, it's a good thing they delayed, because maybe they're not as close to finishing the game as we thought, but also I hope they're not having trouble behind the scenes is my thing.
Yeah.
Like it's a good thing they delayed, but I don't want the thing to end up in development hell.
Oh, I don't think it's. I think more than anything, I think two things. I think number one, God of War is sticking to its date of November 8th or 9th or whenever. And I do honestly think that a lot of people don't want to go toe to toe with that game for the holiday season. And I really believe that. You know, someone else may say, oh, they don't really care that much. And that may be true. But when you think about somebody who doesn't live and breathe games like we do.
Hogwarts Legacy. Mm-hmm. It shouldn't be afraid of God of War because it's an established IP, but at the same time, like when you think about it, they do share a market. They are similar enough. Third person action RPGs that are story focused. Mm-hmm. It's God of War, and it's Hogwarts Legacy. So like, I think that Hogwarts Legacy has very strong brand power. Mm-hmm. But I do think there is that element of like, you know, when a brand has probably too much recognition to where like we don't think of video games when we think of Harry Potter.
Yes. Well, see,
there's that vibe of like, this is their first time making a video game for that, so it's going to suck.
So that's the other thing, right? Like, we've had Harry Potter games. Have any of them been good? Like, maybe the Lego ones, but that's because that's
the
kind
Lego
of
ones are fantastic. Okay, but right. Lego games,
that's kind of its own thing, right? They're kind of in their own category. Right. This is setting up to be the best Harry Potter game we've ever gotten, right? So there's a lot riding on that, and so I think people, like you're saying, people think movies when they see Harry Potter. They don't think games, and so. I don't know. Anyway, I am happy with the delay. Even if they didn't show us anything new, like, oh, we're adding this look at this arena mode that we didn't have time to show you in our last direct, like whatever. I'm fine with there not being anything new to look at because that means they're spending this time polishing. Right. Or you know, either finishing things that they pitched and you know, maybe showed us, but it was beta or alpha or whatever. I'm cool with them delaying for polish because my big concern with this is that they have all these elements crammed into it. How much are they really going to focus in on things? And so I want them to really flesh out all these systems that they have so that it doesn't feel like a cheap throw in thing when it's all pieced together in the end. So I don't know. Right. Anyway, I'm so excited for that game though. I'm so ready to play it. The next one I have on my list is New Tales from the Borderlands. This is basically the Telltale series that they did. This is kind of pieces of that team returning to do kind of a new Tales of the Borderlands. So
it's Gearbox doing this one, which, if the writing of Borderlands 3 is any indication. Then we're going to have a bad time.
Did they do Tiny Tina?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Which that one was good.
Yeah.
It was fine. Story-wise. Gameplay was great.
This trailer looked okay. Like I'm not a Borderlands person, so I don't know really what I'm looking at, but it looked nice. It's going to be story narrative heavy. I don't know. Did the Tales from the Borderland games before, did they have any like shooting or anything like that?
No idea.
I think because see, when I think of Telltale games, I think of like walking sim with a lot of narrative story decisions. Kind of, I guess a better comparison would be like Detroit Become Human kind of gameplay. Right. So, and I don't know that that's necessarily what. I don't know. I know Tales from the Borderlands originally was a big hit. So I hope that some of that gets into this and it's good for people. So anyway, we'll see.
Yep.
Next we have Word Song. This is from Bethesda Game Studios, designer Jeff Gardner and Obsidian Entertainment alum Charlie Staples. They created Something Wicked Games, and they announced Word Song. Now, if I remember, I'm actually going to have to watch this trailer to remember. I remember when they listed all the games that they worked on, you and I were both like really hyped. Yeah, so this was a big concept thing. There's a lot of like witchy magic stuff happening, but it all looks like motion, like someone took their concept art and just made it move and made it 3D a little bit. But we don't really know anything other than obviously the people working on it having worked on some amazing games.
Right. It's a bunch of RPG vets are making a new RPG, basically.
Yeah. So one to watch, one to keep up with, but this was the last thing from the show, but they've got it listed a lot higher here on Polygon. But Dead Island 2 got its official re-reveal. They had a nice long CG trailer basically kind of showing the tone of the game. And then they followed up that with the developer on stage. And then they said, when can we see gameplay? And she's like, you want to see it right now? And it was like, oh, okay, that's a good moment. So anyway, then they showed some gameplay. I like zombie games. For whatever reason, Dying Light, Dead Island, those are two that like have never really grabbed me. Like I probably would like Dying Light if I gave it a solid try.
You would really enjoy Dying Light because gameplay wise, it's among the best zombie games I've ever played.
Yeah. Well, what my takeaway from Dead Island 2 was that it looks like Dying Light without parkour, and so or with less cool parkour. So they've got different playable characters. It's obviously a kind of a tongue-in-cheek game. It's gonna be kind of funny and pulpy, is what they put in quotes here from Polygon. So
my understanding is that Dead Island, and I've never played a Dead Island game, but Dead Island is kind of what you get when you combine Dying Light and Borderlands. But you take away the best things about both of those games. And then you get Dead Island.
It's more on the humor side and whatnot. So anyway, we'll see. February 3rd, 2023. So that's not terribly long that we have to wait for that, but we'll see too, because this has been kind of one of those games that's like, will this ever come out? Who knows? We had a new trailer from Callisto Protocol. Just kind of got to see a new section of gameplay. This continues to look like the next iteration of Dead Space, and
it is, and they have no qualms about it. Like, they are not hiding it, and good on them.
Yeah, no, I mean that's the thing. It's like
if EA is gonna sit on a great IP, then let them get beaten to the punch.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks great, and if you liked Dead Space, you're gonna love this because it's just bigger, better stuff. There was a great moment. They talked about these tentacles that come out of the monsters, and if you don't, I forget if he said shoot the tentacles or stop it, kill it quickly. At that point, they mutate. We watched a guy who had his arms taken off. The tentacles like rip open his chest. A new head with bigger arms pops out. And it was just like, whoa! That was a great moment in the trailer. But anyway, I don't know that I'm ever gonna get this or play it. But if you're a Dead Space person and you like that, this is for you. So we had a new trailer for Genshin Impact, just kind of showing off a new area, a new rainforest, some new characters. Sure, that's your game. There you go. Then we had and again, none of this is in order, but Honkai Star Rail. It's another Hoyoverse game.
Another trailer that tells us nothing.
Yeah, the trailer was...
This is a sci-fi game that takes place in space.
Look.
Thank you for telling me that the third time.
I really like the concept of a train in space. Like, just from an idea, I'm curious, okay?
Okay, Kojima.
I want to know, how does this Strand game work? So anyway, trailer was...
Think about it. What is a train if not just a large Strand-type vehicle?
If a train can take you from point A to B, what is the space between?
There is no space between.
What if there is no space? What if it's just space?
What if it's all space because it's a train in space?
Great idea. Anyway, I'm tentatively curious for this one. My problem with the Hoyoverse games, Genshin Impact in particular, I love everything about Genshin Impact except for the gacha mechanics of like, you've got to roll for these characters. You got to kind of grind out points or pay. And it's just like, I don't have time for that. If Star Rail is not that, I may really be interested. But we'll see. The next on the list is Friends versus Friends, which was this.
What a wild trailer that
What
was.
a wild trailer. It's a card-based shooter where you play as a bunch of animals. You're shooting. Basically, you get cards that I think it was kind of difficult to tell because there was a little bit of gameplay, but it was mostly just conceptual CG trailer, if you want to call it that. It was not CG. It showed the cards. They gave you abilities. And then obviously you have different weapons. It was unclear if the weapons and the cards are tied together or if those are separate things. Anyway, you're playing as these fun animals. Now, the trailer is wild. It's got this crazy animation style. It's very colorful. The music was kind of all over the place. The longer it went on, the more I was like, I could get behind this art style. This is kind of starting to jive. Then it cuts to gameplay. Completely different style. Yeah. It's like it's 3D cell shaded, but not good not good like something like Genshin Impact or something like that.
It looks like Borderlands 1.
Yeah. It was not ideal, and so that pretty much shut me down. I don't think you liked it at any point, but
no, I was not on board for that space train.
The card based stuff seems like a cool mechanic, but I don't know how in practice it's going to really work.
It seems like what was that game that just came out on the Switch? Where it was like the running game, but you had cards that were guns.
The running game.
It gave me that vibe. It's something with something white.
I'm thinking of White Knight or something like that.
No.
Neon white.
Neon white.
Yep.
It looked like that.
Yeah.
Same vibe.
So hey, if that's your vibe, you got a game coming for you, but it's not our vibe. They were close. If the art style had been what was in the trailer, I might have kept an eye on it. I'm not interested now. But anyway, we also got another look at Gotham Knights. This was another one.
Probably their best trailer that we've seen so far.
Yeah, I kind of would agree. This focused on some of the villains that you'll see. Obviously, we've known for a while that we're going to have the Court of Owls. We knew
about Mr. Freeze as well, but we got a better look at him.
We knew about Mr. Freeze, got a great look at him. We saw that Harley Quinn is going to be in this. No Joker, interestingly. I don't know. I'm assuming he's dead as well, but I don't know that that's been confirmed.
Continuing to confuse the Arkham timelines, because everything about this game with the setup seems like it is supposed to be the follow-up to Arkham Knight.
But it's not. Suicide Squad is in that world.
Which makes no sense.
No sense. Anyway, we also got to look at Clayface. Mm-hmm. He looks awesome. Great design.
I love how much the villain designs in particular seem like they're pulling from the animated series from the 90s.
Yes.
Because like Mr. Freeze has the 90s animated series head, but he's got like a mech body almost.
Yes, yeah. He had like like a spider tank at one point, didn't he?
Maybe.
I vaguely remember that. Anyway, really good looking trailer. Really excited about the villains. Of course, we're seeing the Bat Family too. I'm telling you, I'm really excited about all the different outfits that all the heroes have. So that's going to be really exciting.
Robin outfit I liked. That made me excited.
There you go.
Jason Todd continues to look like a human Ninja Turtle.
Jason Todd, more like Raphael. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Which my hot take is that Gotham Knights just looks like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game when you really think about it.
I wish and hope maybe years from now they'll add Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle skins to the game. Batgirl's the only one that wouldn't make sense for it, but
Donatello.
Just give her something. You know what I mean? Just make somebody her, and you got a great.
Robin's the one that doesn't make sense.
Oh yeah,
like you could maybe justify him paired with Mikey, but like Batgirl and Donatello are basically the same. They both wear purple and they're the techie.
I guess that's true. Yeah.
Jason Todd is the red one with an attitude problem. There's Raph. Nightwing's the blue one that's the leader. That's Leo.
Yep.
And then Mikey's the one that acts the most like a child.
So he's the one that hacks into the boom tubes from the Justice League Tower and uses it to transport himself to the corner store down the block to get some ice cream.
There's gonna be a line to justify that where Robin just says, "I love pizza," so they can be like, "That's Mikey."
Hey. Anyway, yeah, still excited for that one. October 21st. Don't have to wait too much longer to play it. We also got a trailer for Where Winds Meet. A lot of people kind of comparing this to like if Ghost of Tsushima is all about Japanese culture, this is going to be like Chinese Ghost of Tsushima, if you want to think about it that way. I would say from a gameplay connection standpoint, I don't know how much that's going to line up, but from a concept point, I absolutely follow and track with that. So,
like everything about it. Like one, I thought this looked awesome, and you should check out the extended gameplay that I sent in the group text. There's a little bit more in there.
Yeah.
But if Ghost of Tsushima was all about paying homage to Kurosawa and samurai cinema, this looks like it's going to, in a lot of ways, homage like House of Flying Daggers or whatever that movie, like the kung fu aesthetic of film,
right? Where
people can jump an infinite number of times in the air, and like there's a lot of aerial combat and stuff.
The over the top of Chinese filmmaking,
very over the top kung fu style, but with weapons.
Yeah,
I think that's awesome.
Lots of sword fighting. We saw bows. Yeah, it was a big trailer from the night for sure.
If they can deliver on the gameplay of that, that's going to be incredible.
Yeah.
Do we know who the developer is for that?
It's not telling me off of this, but let me see if I can Google that real quick. Where the winds meet, right? Where winds meet developer. Everstone, Chinese studio. So anyway, that's one. If you go, you should go watch the trailer for sure. Check it out. It looked very cool. Again, I don't know if the gameplay really is going to line up quite with Ghost of Tsushima, but it definitely has more of a mythic feel than Ghost did. Ghost leaned into the myth in the legends and the in their multiplayer thing, but they tried to stay very grounded in the main game. But anyway, Steven, it's a Chinese developer named Everstone Studio. And again, Where the Winds Meet is an open world action RPG. The game is being developed for PC with an open beta test planned for later this year. It's set during the twilight of the 10 Kingdoms period in China and the start of the Northern Song Dynasty. So, anyway,
as someone
super cool.
As someone who plays, well, I don't really play it anymore because they've massacred the franchise. But Dynasty Warriors. While watching this, I was just like, man, I don't know if anyone's going to be able to play any of those games again, because if a Dynasty Warriors game played like this looks like it's going to play.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
This is what Dynasty Warriors wish they could make their game play out to be. Yeah. It's funny. Those Dynasty Warrior games were so good.
Those Dynasty Warrior games.
And then as soon as they started throwing IPs in it, it's like, I don't know that I could ever go back to just the original, Chinese Dynasty warrior fighting things. After I've been Zelda with a tablet whacking things around, it's like I don't know that I could ever go back.
Only time I play a Dynasty Warriors or Samurai Warriors game is when it's the Empires version, because they'll release Samurai Warriors 4 and then they'll do Samurai Warriors 4 Empires, and with that it mixes strategy with all of the action to where you kingdom and you try to rule Japan or China, and so you can create a bunch of characters and make them your generals and bring them into battle with you. You can command soldiers in the fight. So it's a Dynasty / Samurai Warriors game, but with a strategic layer on top of it.
I like that.
Those are great.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get the crossover ones, like Fire Emblem Warriors actually has a lot of the strategic element applied to it. But you know what's really weird?
Go for it.
Do you know what the first, at least I know it came before the Nintendo crossovers, but do you know what the first Dynasty Warriors third crossover IP was? Gundam. There are 3 Dynasty Warriors Gundam games.
Like with the so you're running around as mechs?
You are mechs doing Dynasty Warriors combat. I've played one of them. It was fun. I would not play it today. Will not be getting a forward compatible.
I was just about to say, that sounds like a great forward compatible.
No, it's one of those that's like...
Steven's like, I don't even have to play it. I can tell you right now, it is not forward compatible.
Like, once I got... Like, it's one of those games that did not age well. I can tell. Like... Like back then, it was like, oh, cool! I'm piloting Wing Gundam. I'm a jet. I'm flying around. It's so cool. And today it'd be like, this is fun for about 15 minutes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I get it. Speaking of fun for about 15 minutes, they also showed another trailer for Park Beyond, which is you build an amusement park game. So sure, yeah. If that's your gig, I hope it's great for you. You know. Now we're gonna park it here for a minute, because they also showed a new trailer for Lies of P, which it took...
Hell yeah!
It took this trailer, and obviously lots of conversation happening around it during the show.
This game up, but no one listened.
It's basically... It is not a FromSoft game, but it is essentially...
But it is a FromSoft.
It's not made by FromSoft, but it looks like Bloodborne... if you were playing as Pinocchio.
It's Bloodborne if you played as Timothy Chalamet playing Pinocchio.
I don't know.
You got a mech arm? That's pretty cool. Nose doesn't grow.
You got a mech arm that we know of? You don't know that.
Yeah, I'm waiting for because Dante in Devil May Cry has a devil trigger where he embraces the demon side. He has like a demon form. I really hope that Pinocchio's form is like liar trigger and his nose just becomes his...
I want that to be a finisher. I want him to tell a lie and it shoots out. Yeah, I mean, literally, if you've ever seen... in fact, I think someone did a side-by-side comparison of like some of the attacks, and it is frame for frame, like almost to the point of probably should be like FromSoft should maybe pursue this legally. It looks just like Bloodborne from a gameplay perspective. So if you liked Bloodborne and you've been waiting for a Bloodborne 2,
you played Bloodborne and you said to yourself, you know what this is really missing? Jiminy Cricket.
When Jiminy Cricket showed up, man, I was so hyped. And then like Geppetto showed up and it was like, why am I getting hyped for Pinocchio? Also, can we talk about for just a second how there's like 15 different Pinocchio movies coming out
hot right now.
Pinocchio's hot right now. Did it just come into open public domain or something? Like, what is up?
I don't know.
Disney's making a new Pinocchio. Guillermo del Toro's making a new Pinocchio. Somebody's making a Pinocchio that looks horrible. That's the one that was getting memed. A lot of people like, but Dad, when will I get to see the real world? Or something
when will I get to go home?
Yeah, I don't.
With Polly Shore, is that
something?
Yeah,
like
that one's out. That one's been out. That exists.
Is it okay?
Already.
I don't want to know any more about it. But anyway, Pinocchio's hot.
Horse is the horse.
Pinocchio's hot right now. So anyway, this is one to watch for sure. It's coming to Game Pass day one, so that's exciting. I don't know that I can make it through another FromSoft game without it really hooking me. I don't know that this is it, but that's one to watch for sure. Phantom Hellcat was another one. This was a real short trailer, if I remember correctly. It's a 3D hack and slash. You have a girl who's got like a Phantom of the Hour, I almost said Phantom of the Hourglass, Phantom of the Opera mask. It kind of looks like a top-down hack and slash kind of thing. So it looked okay. It looked cool. We had a Goat Simulator 3 gameplay trailer, which was just nonsensical chaos, which is all that Goat Simulator is. So, hey, maybe we'll do it. If it comes to Game Pass, we have to do a stream of it, Steven. I'm just letting you know. Or PS Plus or something. We've got to at least do one.
It's just going to be more of the same.
It will be, but it'll be a year or two later. You know what I mean? So that's fresh.
Okay.
I digress. We had a really interesting Return to Monkey Island trailer with Sell It Fast Sam or Stan or whatever his name is. There you go. That's a game that's coming out. If you liked those,
that's a game that's coming out.
That's kind of how I feel about that one. It's like I know a lot of people are giving it some hate. I don't think it deserves any hate, but
yeah,
it's
a beloved IP, and they made a change to the art style, which, it's a very old IP. It's going to have a different art style.
Yeah.
Just get over it.
Yeah, just get over it. Anyway, we had Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the game, announced.
Wild. That's wild.
From the people that made the Friday the 13th games, where one person's playing. Is it Freddy in that game? I forget. Jason.
Jerry.
Somebody's playing Jason. Everybody else is a camper. In this, it's a team of 3 clowns chasing, I forget how many humans trying to get out.
Just one human.
Just one.
They flipped the script. Okay, the villain's still more powerful, but there's only one human.
Hey, though, that's like that's maybe an idea right there. Anyway,
no, that's a terrible idea.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind. But what if the human was more powerful?
Then it would just be the same thing.
Oh, okay, never mind. Anyway, crazy game. Crazy. Jeff, when he introed this one, he's like, you'll never guess. Like, you'll literally never guess what this is. And he was right. I never in a million years.
Yep.
We also got another game. We got a bit of gameplay from High on Life. Actually, there's been some other gameplay demos that have come out from Gamescom beyond even this. Let me tell you, this game's funny. You and I were rolling while this was all happening.
Australian knife.
This is made. The knife got us for sure. This is Justin Roiland's Squatch Games game where your guns and your knife, they're all these like aliens and they talk to you. And so the main gun is basically it's the voice of Morty, and you're fighting and it's like, would you just die? Stop jumping in the juice, whatever. And then at some point, and I don't know exactly how this all happened, but the knife character gets pulled up and he's just like, I'm gonna fucking stab this stuff. I'm gonna get him. And me and Steve, that was the part we were rolling, having a great time in that trailer. So I'm so excited for this one.
I've seen that people have been giving it hate because they were like, wow, this gameplay doesn't look very good. And to me, it's like,
a lot of people have talked about that this gameplay went on too long. And
it did.
Yeah.
But to me, it's like, it doesn't look bad. It just looks like a game that is coming out very soon, in that they showed a legitimate portion of gameplay. So I know what to expect.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're not playing a squanch game for the gameplay. If the gameplay is just good, great.
Yes. Yes. You play their games to laugh.
Yes.
And all they have to do with gameplay is make it not suck. It's got to be just a little bit enjoyable, and then you're going to chase the laughs. Some of the gameplay demos I've seen, there's a kid character that you meet early on, and if you try to shoot him, your gun's like, whoa, we're not going to kill a kid. Like, are you crazy? And if you keep trying, eventually he'll just shoot him because it's a really annoying kid. And the guy's like, whoa, normally games won't let you kill a kid, but we're going to fucking go crazy. Like, well, who knows what can happen in this game? It's pretty funny. So I'm just, that's what you are going to play this game for. And I cannot wait. December 13th. It's going to be a good one. We got a new trailer for Moving Out 2. I guess really I say new, a world premiere trailer. It looks like more moving out, to the point that I thought it was just an update that they've added online play.
Yeah.
So there's that. We played one stream of moving out.
The desync was so bad that we could never play it again.
Yeah. So I do, when this comes out, I would like to try it since we have online.
Yep.
Because we were like really trying to make online work for that.
Play, and it just did not.
It was not a good plan. But anyway, yeah, exciting for them. Glad they're releasing a second game and adding online. That was all that the first one was missing. So we got a new trailer, or a world premiere trailer for Lords of the Fallen. Really,
Lords of the Fallen.
Really cool. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. The Lords of the Fallen. Really cool CG trailer. That's one to watch as well. I'm afraid it's not a FromSoft game, but it looks like it's going to maybe play a little bit like one.
It's a Souls-like.
Yeah.
Because Lords of the Fallen was a Souls-like that it was one of the first that came out when the Soul genre was a thing. Like, I think Dark Souls 3 wasn't even out yet when Lords of the Fallen came out.
Wow. Yeah.
So it was one of the first to really embrace that gameplay style.
Yeah.
And I think people liked it fine, but there was it just couldn't get out of the Dark Souls shadow. It was my understanding.
Yeah. So one to watch for that if you're a Dark Souls fan. We also had a trailer for Stranded: Alien Dawn. This was again kind of a CG trailer. Really, we didn't see much. It's
survival crafting game in space.
Survival crafting game in space. You're stranded on an island, on a planet.
To the point where when we saw this, I was like, I think I've seen this before. But that's just because I've seen like 3 of that game on Steam.
Yeah, it's just okay, cool.
It's low hanging fruit, but you know, if done well, which I've yet to see it done well, but if done well, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah. We also got Under the Waves, which was an announcement trailer for Parallel Studios and Quantic Dream's next game. It's coming in 2023. It looks like a more story-focused Subnautica. You're underwater in a submarine. Obviously, Quantic Dream. There's a lot of story games. Detroit Become Human, that sort of thing. So, could be good. The trailer didn't show us a ton. It was a lot of concept, I think. So, we'll see how that goes. We got a new trailer for Sonic Frontiers. Didn't do a ton for me. I'm not a big Sonic fan, but
I mean, when you compare it to the reveal,
it looks so much better.
It does. A lot of the complaints people had are not necessarily put out, but something that I said was that in that reveal, it was just like, this could be any open world. It just looks like this looks like a mod for like a Xenoblade game that puts Sonic in it.
Yep.
So seeing stuff like Green Hill Zone and the more iconic Sonic look was good for them.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a Sonic person, but I feel like a lot of them, maybe not all of them, but a lot of them are breathing a sigh of relief.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah. No, I listened to a podcast with some fans of Sonic, and they're very excited. So, funnily enough, the sections that are more of the traditional Sonic gameplay are the things they're most excited for. So we'll see how it goes. Atlas Fallen was a game that I swear was the game with the fox that we have seen before, but it was not. This is like
conceptually and aesthetically, it looked the same.
Yes, very much. They just had bigger armor and bigger weapons. But this is from Focus Entertainment and Deck 13 Interactive. It's a new action fantasy role-playing game. It's described as being semi-open world, full of ancient mysteries and threats. And then there's a lot of sand. Like they conjure weapons out of sand. They like kind of earthbend sand and do some stuff. So I kind of feel like it's gonna be kind of an Anthem, Outlast, or Outriders kind of style game. So we'll see. Yeah. We'll see how it goes. We had the Outlast trials. I'll be honest, I think you stepped away during these, Steven.
That was when I had to leave.
And I was just like, I don't care. Like this is multiplayer Outlast, and I am not going to do spooky with someone else being able to control the spoops. I'm just not for that. So anyway, if you're a fan of Outlast and Red Barrel, and you thought, hey, what if I could do these with friends? Come in.
What if I could be the pantsless, skinless surgeon?
And make my friends shit the bed. If that's your cup of tea, you probably need to see a therapist, but this is also the game for you. So
that's your cup of tea. What's your name so that I can not call the authorities?
I need to, we had a new game announcement called Moonbreaker. This is from Unknown World. They're the people that made Subnautica. They announced this new game. They describe it as Hearthstone meets XCOM. This is the one where the gameplay is done. You're playing as these miniature figures, and they don't come to life. They don't do anything like that. You can fully customize, like literally paint the figures to however you want, and then they just kind of do the moves, like they spin and like whack things, like, but they're in their pose, moving. So
yeah, there's animations where like if someone shoots a gun or uses a flamethrower, you see that, but the minis don't move.
So kind of an interesting idea. Watching it, I'll be honest with you. The thing that kind of has me like, that's a choice, is the whole miniatures don't move. Like, I love the idea of like we're playing a board game and we have these pieces, but when they attack, they actually do something and then go back to their pose.
Have you heard of Demio?
Yes, that's the VR game, right? That we...
Yeah, it is on PC as well, so we wouldn't have to play the VR. I would love to play that with you guys because it is Dungeons and Dragons, but the minis are animated. So like when you move them, like if you're playing a wizard and you have him do a fireball spell, he actually does the fireball spell and then he returns to just being a mini.
Okay, but hear me out. What if we did do it in VR?
I mean, we can.
Can I play in VR and you be on a PC?
I mean, if you're playing on VR, I own it on VR already, so I'll just play it on VR with you. But that seems like overly complicated. That's like going to see a rom-com in IMAX.
Okay.
Like,
yeah, no, I
wow, they're in VR, sitting down,
watching a table.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, we can try that. We can play that sometime. Homeworld 3 got shown off. This is a tactical space game. Looks really cool. If you're into tactics and space,
it's strategy. Not tactics.
Sorry. Yeah. Strategy.
My distinction for gaming is that tactics is more turn-based, strategy is real time.
Yeah. It looks cool. It's fine if that's your cup of tea. There's also another Telltale series, The Expanse. This is, just kind of the
game.
The Expanse is obviously a classic sci-fi show. Again, my former employer loved this. He talked about it being like the best sci-fi ever. So I don't know much about it.
If he loved Dune, if he truly loved Dune, then he would not say that something was a better sci-fi thing than Dune.
I think he was like a light Dune fan, but he loved The Expanse. If that would sell you on it. So anyway, this looks cool. It looks interesting, and I know the show is. I've heard great things about the show. So if they can continue that great storytelling there, it should be a good one. I don't know how to say this next one. It's like Dorfromantik.
Let me look.
I'm gonna be honest. This one looks cool. It's this colorful, cute strategy game that almost kind of looks like Settlers of Catan with like the little hexagon pieces.
It's a 4X strategy game.
Yeah, it looks interesting. I wanna see more. I want to hear more. But it for the right price at the right time, that might be one I'd like to try out. I tell you honestly, I would probably enjoy this more if it eventually comes to mobile, because this looks more like something I'd want to mess with on my phone while I'm waiting in a waiting room, and not something I'd want to like spend precious gaming time on.
Well, it's coming to Switch. That's what the announcement was, I thought.
Yeah, no, but that, like, even the Switch, I have to, like, I'm not just going to have the Switch on me when I find myself in a waiting room. You know what I mean? That involves some planning and some forethought, and I'm just not here for that. So, we had Scars Above. This is a science fiction action game from Prime Matter and Madhead Games. I don't even remember this one. I'm going to click on the trailer.
It's the third person one. It looked kind of good.
From the Darkness. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it looks like it's story focused. Mm-hmm. Oh, is this the one that we were like, this looks like Returnal? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks like it's kind of doing a little bit of what Returnal did. So maybe not so much in the die, try again cycle, roguelite, but aesthetically definitely looks like that. Yes. So one to watch. We're down to the final announcements. We're
the dumb ones.
No, there's one. There's good one left.
There's one more.
We had, by the way, what's up, Vanilla? It's meow to you as well. This was actually one of the early announcements, but what?
Did I miss something?
I don't know. I just saw it. Somebody came in who named Vanilla said meow. It's on my chat. It's everywhere. So, everywhere. Okay. One of the first announcements, Kojima, I had even said in our preview, I was like, I don't think we're going to see much from PlayStation here tonight. And like, as soon as the show starts, Kojima was like, who likes PlayStation? And I was like, oh shit, we're fixing to get
Did you say Kojima?
I did. Jeff Keighley. They're one and the same. Steven, they're twins. They're twins. Jeff was like, who likes PlayStation? And it was like, oh my God, are we going to get a PlayStation announcement here? And he's like, well, they have something to show you. And at first, I thought it was just the VR2 because that had been a blog post that same day. So I thought, oh, that makes sense. Oh, what's up? What's up, Brody? Gotcha. Man, you're always changing your title. I can't keep up. So anyway, I thought it was VR, but then it very clearly showed what looks like a PS5 controller. And I was like, what? And then of course it says dual edge. It's got back buttons. It's got some swappable pieces and whatnot.
It has paddles.
It's essentially
that's it.
It's essentially an Xbox Elite controller, but PlayStation, right? And I'm curious because like the triggers, adaptive triggers, right? That was a big piece of the DualSense. I wonder if those pedals in the back are going to have any kind of adaptive triggering. I doubt it, but anyway, I personally am super hyped on this. As soon as everything was over, I went to Twitter and I was trying to find, is there pre-order information? Right. Is there anything? And there's nothing yet. So I'm keeping my eye out. But anyway, exciting. I've always wanted PlayStation to do like an Elite controller. So I think it's going to be an awesome thing. So now we're down to the stupid announcements. Potentially I don't know. They're both really stupid, but here we are. Kojima came on and said, hey, I'm still working on games, but I'm starting a podcast. And it's going to be in Japanese, but there'll be an English translation version, so English audiences can enjoy it as well. It's exclusive to Spotify, and then I think Jeff he said something about Jeff is going to have a weekly game section in it. I don't know what that means, but there you go. So
that doesn't make any sense.
I don't know. Like in a sense. So actually, shoot, who is the guy that makes the Smash games?
Sakurai.
Sakurai started a YouTube channel that he's going to basically be doing presentations that you would normally see at like a GDC or something, free on YouTube, just showing his expertise at game making. He's just putting it out there. That's awesome. That's great.
Well, it makes sense for him.
It does. And like I almost see this as like a weirder choice, but like trying to get to the same objective, but just not. I don't know. Like I think some game developers could listen to Kojima's podcast and maybe learn a thing or two, but it mostly comes off as I'm Kojima. Check out my podcast. Yeah,
it's listen to me talk because I haven't been topical enough lately, and I don't have another game.
I don't have my game yet to talk about. So
that's the entire vibe that I got from that.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. It's very strange, and it's one of those things that, like, I know that Kojima and Jeff have this whole thing going on, but like, if you don't really have anything to talk about, did we need to spend time on Kojima starting a podcast at this event? I don't think so, but whatever.
No, we did.
Speaking of other things that we didn't need to spend time on at this event, Pokemon has made a Mini Cooper car that you can play video games on a round TV screen.
And to demonstrate that, they showed a bunch of hipster teens watching the Pokemon movie, not playing games.
Yeah. It was unclear, but it seemed like the headlights can project the show. It's like, what? Why is this happening? So anyway, it was very strange. Even like Jeff, like, pitched it to a pre-recorded video of himself in front of the car.
Yeah, on the same stage. It
just was weird. And it was towards the end. It was one of those things. I think that was when you were like, well, I'm going to get my shoes or something like that. Because it was just like, why are we spending... We're down to precious seconds now. Why have you not... Why are we talking about this? So, and like to the same tone, at least they didn't open the show with this or something. But it just... The longer it went on, the more I was just like, why?
It was super out of touch.
So Vanilla, it probably is a real car, but like every concept car is technically real, but like you'll never see it. You know what I mean? Like they're not mass producing this. There's maybe 10 of these or something that you'd have to pay $1 billion to get. And it's not going to be worth that. But I digress. Anyway, that was just kind of a weird piece of the show. That kind of, I don't know. It was, in a way, thank goodness it was at the end, but it didn't need to be there at all. So, I feel like we've missed a couple. I always feel like these lists don't tell the whole story, because there was one other game that had like Baba Yaga in it. That like the two sisters, it was like the twin sister Baba and her twin sister Yaga, and they're witches, and you're doing something. Yeah. But I don't know. I think that was the gist of it. There certainly wasn't one that I was just like, you know, we're not missing anything that I was super excited about or anything like that. So
right. I'm looking super quick.
All in all, you know, I put this show at better than Summer Games this year. Still not just like an amazing showcase or anything, but
that list missed a lot.
Okay, what else did we have? Can you send me that link in our Discord too?
It's IGN.
Okay. They always be missing stuff, you know what I mean?
Dying Light 2 Stay Human expansion.
That's right. They had the new arena fighting thing, so that's cool.
Looked kind of cool.
Did you guys ever beat?
I think Jeremy did. I got bored with Dying Light 2 because the story was so bad.
Yeah.
Gameplay was great, but the story was real bad, and it was buggy as hell. Tortuga: A Pirate's Tale.
Oh gosh. It was like worse looking Black Flag, or not Black Flag, Skull and Bones.
It was like, hey, if you thought Skull and Bones was the pirate game that no one cares about,
here's another one that you'll probably never hear about again.
Marauders is entering early access this October. Mm-hmm. It's a I think this is my understanding of the game. Think Escape from Tarkov, but I think it's PvE, but in space with it's an interesting aesthetic because it's I don't want to say World War II eras, but there is kind of like an older weapon aesthetic, but you're a space pirate.
Right.
So you're using like MG-42s while flying towards a big ship in space. Looks kind of cool. I think it sounds interesting.
There was a really quick game that we missed called Owl Chewy Labs, and it looks like a trailer for the Oculus, but it's from Job Simulator VR developer. Oh, well, no, that's Owl Chewy Labs. We don't know what the game is. Like, again, it looks like a trailer for the Oculus, but it's something about eating. We know nothing. We literally just saw the people in VR playing it. So they showed that. And so we'll see what that gets to. I'm going through the rest of it.
Empires 4, the Ottomans and Malians.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I know we're missing
Warhammer 40K got another trailer.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I am so pumped for Darktide. Yeah, I think it comes out in November.
Yes,
but it's the more I see from it, it sounds so cool.
Mm-hmm. Black Tail was the one that I was thinking about with the witchcraft and Baba Yaga, so kind of cool.
That should be it.
There was the finals, which was from ex-Battlefield developers that we literally just got like a graphic for. So
was that the one that was like it was a super quick like 3-second trailer, and it was like,
yes,
there's the trailer.
Yes. And I remember, I forget what game it looks like maybe Apex, or not Apex, Valorant or something like that. I don't know. It wasn't very exciting, and they didn't show enough to really have warranted the announcement, but it is what it is. Thank you. I have many Eevee statues, vanilla. I have one at the top of my monitor, and then I have a little sleeping one at the bottom of my monitor. I'm a big Eevee fan. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So anyway, if we missed something, it was not big at all. So take that as you will. So anyway, good show all in all. I didn't dislike the show. I thought it had good announcements. There just wasn't anything like crazy good. Like if we hadn't have had a direct for Hogwarts Legacy, or even if that direct had been pieces of that had been in this and we hadn't seen it before, like that would have been a big moment for the show. But all in all, it was good announcements. I think most of these games are going to be, maybe 7/8, and we'll hope that they're even better, but it was a good show. It was a good show. Better than Summer Games. I hope Game Awards is better, but we'll see. So
I see you, Vanilla. Thank you.
Steven, before we started, was like, I have to get my hat. I've got to make sure I got my hat for the podcast. So anyway, that was Gamescom opening night live. Lots of good stuff. Really excited about it. And that is going to be our show. Of course, this has been Chortlecast, the official podcast of Chortle Games. We talk about video games, TV shows, movies, anime. We usually do this on Monday nights here on YouTube, chortlegames.com. Of course, like, subscribe, all that good stuff to the channel. But this isn't the only thing we do on the channel. We, of course, live stream games, usually on Thursday nights, Friday nights, and Saturday nights. Lots of things happening right now. Back 4 Blood has a new expansion that launches tomorrow. So we're probably going to play that again this weekend. They're adding bows. Super pumped.
Which I'm happy about it, but also I don't know how that's going to work in regular Back 4 Blood gameplay.
I don't know how I'm going to get off of my melee train with that, but
you don't have to.
I don't have to, but I want to. But though, because usually it makes you carry other weapons, and then you have a melee weapon. Yeah. And so now,
bow should be. I would expect it to be
a primary. Wouldn't you think? Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, now I can have a bow and an axe, so I can do both. So it's gonna be a great time. But anyway, we'll probably be playing that either Thursday or Saturday, whenever we can get the most a full squad together. Yep. But then, Gungeon Fire Reborn, is that right? Gunfire Reborn. I don't know why I'm throwing in Gungeon. Gunfire Reborn had a new expansion, added 2 new characters. So we may try a little bit of that one night. And then, so we'll see. We'll play it out. But be sure to tune in for that. And then, of course, we are also posting shorts with clips from older live streams, but also some of our more recent stuff, we're taking out clips and posting them there. So go like those, share those. It really helps the YouTube algorithm find those and share them with other people, which is kind of why we're doing them, to just kind of help people get out the word that, like, oh, these guys are pretty funny or whatever. We're also
hates us.
It does. It gave us a chance at the beginning. It's completely turned its back on us now. We're also on TikTok posting those shorts at Chortle Games on TikTok. We're doing a little bit better on TikTok, getting some great views. Not so many followers, though. So if you follow us here on YouTube and you like our content, you like the shorts, you have TikTok, just go give us a follow. You know, you can watch it in both places. It's fine. But anyway, whatever you want to do there, please try to help support us if you can in that way. But yeah, that's it. That's it for tonight. Steven, thanks for joining me, having a good old chat about Gamescom. Thank you for reminding me that Gamescom happened, because I was like, we need to do do we just need to do a stream tonight? Like, what do we want to talk about? So anyway, yep, that's going to be it for tonight. We will talk to you guys later. Peace.
Bye.